Welcome to the Transform Your Wedding podcast, a how-to guide for taking your wedding to a whole new level. Here's your host, Marie Kubin from Rent My Wedding.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the latest episode. This one is all about how to hire a lighting vendor. I'll share 5 things that you need to think about before you sign that contract. So let's jump right in. The first thing that you need to do when hiring a lighting vendor is read the reviews. Now I know this is probably a no-brainer, but I just really want to make sure that you guys are checking out reviews on third-party websites. Don't just rely on the little snippets that they put on their own website. Go to places like Wedding Wire or The Knot or Google Reviews and make sure that you're reading their whole track record. Make sure they've got enough reviews over a long enough period of time. And that is the best way to get started because you can narrow down your list just based on the reviews alone. The second thing to consider is the quality. So you might be surprised, but different vendors use different quality levels of products. So you want to make sure that your vendor is using professional grade lighting. This means well-respected brands like Chauvet or American DJ. Those are tried and true, they're reliable, and you can rest easy as long as you're using those professional quality lights. Some vendors go for kind of the cheap knockoffs, which you can get on eBay or Amazon, and the problem is that those lights just aren't reliable. So I've been in the wedding industry for about a decade, and I have so many horror stories about people who have tried the cheap knockoff lighting and it stopped working in the middle of the reception, or it stopped working the night before, and people are scrambling and calling us and trying to get alternatives for their lighting because what they had stopped working without notice. So don't put yourself in that situation. You want to make sure you've got the peace of mind. So make sure you're using the professional quality lights. And if a vendor doesn't want to tell you the brand or the lights don't have a brand on them, that's a huge red flag. So you want to steer away from anyone that's not using the name brand lighting. The third thing to think about is the quantity. So a lot of vendors will give you the pricing for the whole wedding. So they might give you an overall cost to do the wedding lighting, and it's not really necessarily broken down into which type of lighting or how many units. So you want to go ahead and ask what kind of lighting exactly are you getting and how many. And then you can actually figure out the price per item. So what is the actual cost of each light fixture that they're bringing? Once you know that, you'll be able to better compare vendors. So one vendor's price might be lower, but it might also have less lighting. So it can be really tough to try to compare based on an overall package price. You really got to get down to the per unit price so that you can really see what you're paying. The next thing to think about when hiring a lighting vendor is the fees. So there are a lot of other fees that can get added on besides that base price for the lighting. You want to make sure that you ask all the questions and really read your contract so you know what fees you'll have to pay. One of the really common things is a security deposit. So you want to ask whether it's refundable and what are the terms of that. So if you need to change your plans or reduce the quantity, you want to make sure you can get that security deposit back or figure out what's going to happen when you do need to make changes. Another common fee is the setup fee and the teardown fee. Now, not only are there fees for that, but they can also change depending on when you're actually having them come to the location. So a lot of times there's a fee for business hours, but it's a higher cost if they've got to come on a Saturday. And it's even more expensive if they have to come after midnight. So make sure you get really specific. Tell them the exact details of your wedding so that you can get really exact pricing and know upfront what all the costs are going to be. The last thing to think about before you hire a lighting vendor is whether you should just do it yourself. So there are actually a lot of great do-it-yourself wedding lighting rental options out there. You might be surprised, but you can actually set up your own lighting. You don't need to have any experience. So things like uplighting and monogram lighting and pin spotting, These are all things you can do yourself. And by setting up your own lighting, you can actually save a lot of money. So it's a great option. You can check it out. Just do a Google search for do-it-yourself wedding rentals, and you'll see some great options. If you want to use our company, for example, Rent My Wedding, the way it works is you just order on the website. We ship everything right to your door, and then after the wedding, you send it back in the same box. And with our company, shipping is always free both ways nationwide, and there are no hidden fees. So the price is exactly what you see on the website. Nothing else ever gets added on. There's no security deposit, and you can always cancel anytime for a full refund. So that's a look at how to hire a lighting vendor. I hope you guys subscribe and check out our other episodes where we explore all kinds of ways to make your wedding look amazing. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. I would love to hear from you. My email is marie@transformyourwedding.com. All right, guys. Well, I will see you next time.
This podcast is brought to you by Rent My Wedding, your one-stop shop for event rentals. Order online and rentals are delivered right to your door. Shipping is free both ways nationwide. Rent lighting, backdrops, photo booths, and more. With the most 5-star reviews in the industry, Rent My Wedding makes rentals easy and affordable. Book your rentals today at www.rentmywedding.com.